My name is Jannae Gammage, Jannae.
Excellent. So where do you live, and have you always lived here?
I live in Kansas City, Missouri. I am new to the Kansas City area.
Where have you lived before?
I've lived all over. Let's start that over. I have actually lived all over. So I'm a military brat. Then I played collegiate basketball, and then joined the military. After that, I became an entrepreneur. Here we are.
There you are. Nice. All right, so I'm only checking this. You said the glare, so I'm looking at the glare.
I see the sun starting
the sun's
to.
good. And it's on your face a little bit, but fortunately it's not glaring on the camera. But again, this is a real-time, real documentary. It's to be rough, so
Okay.
It's not about polish. All right, so what would you miss most if you had to leave the Kansas City area tomorrow?
The community. Excuse me. If I had to leave Kansas City tomorrow, I think the thing that I would miss most is the community. The entrepreneurial ecosystem that exists here is, if not the best, one of the best I've ever seen and been a part of. And I just feel super lucky. And I know that my company personally probably wouldn't have grown as fast as it did if I wasn't in Kansas City.
Why did you choose Kansas City?
I chose Kansas City because the type of company that I wanted to create, the type of culture that I wanted to create, and the type of environment that I wanted to do it in.
And why? What did Kansas City have for that?
Kansas City supported the move in, I'm trying to restate the question. Okay.
Don't overthink it. Just go with it. Don't worry about restating.
All right.
If you remember, you remember.
Yeah. Now I've forgotten the question.
What did Kansas City have that met those criteria?
Yeah, so Kansas City, the environment, I grew up in the Midwest in Indiana for a good amount of time, so I'm really familiar with the pace, and I wanted that big city living, small town, community, and Kansas City really has that, and I just felt super comfortable here. It felt like home immediately.
So, what is it that you do to earn a livelihood? What's your thing?
What do I do to earn money? I run the Market Base. It is a software company created to help small business owners. It supplies them with marketing teams.
And what was the genesis? What's the origin story of that?
The origin story, so me and my two co-founders, we were all entrepreneurs, and it was really birthed out of the idea of small business owners need marketing that's relevant to them, that helps them to grow, and that is accessible to them. So it was kind of created out of our own pains as entrepreneurs, and we knew that there was a way in order to meet that need. And so what we do, we created a software, and here we are.
And so what does it do specifically? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so a business owner with the Market Base can sign up, build a marketing team based on their goals and budget, and start a marketing campaign in less than 10 minutes. They're supplied with strategy, they're supplied with training, they're supplied with social media, all the things that they need to really grow their business. And they can be as hands-on or as hands-off if they'd like to be.
So in 2 words or less, 1 or 2 words, how will you describe year 2020? And then why did you choose those 1 or 2 words?
How would I describe my 2020? Phenomenal. And what's the opposite of phenomenal?
So why did you choose those 2?
I'm always glass half full type of perspective. I started a company. I'm healthy. I'm still able to support myself. I'm doing what I love every single day, which is phenomenal to me. And then whatever word that we come up with for opposite phenomenal, COVID, BLM, systematic racism, everything, that we're fighting for right now, the pandemic, it has turned everyone's lives upside down, including mine in some ways. So
Describe the moment COVID-19 became real to you.
COVID-19 became real for me when there was actually two points. The first point was when, the world shut down. I knew it was serious. I didn't know a lot, but I knew that it was going to be life-changing. It was going to be historical. When it really became serious for me and when it really hit home is when my best friend sent me a text because she could not even talk without choking or feeling like she was going to die or going to a coughing fit, telling me that she had COVID.
Wow. What was that? What was going through you emotionally there?
Honestly, I had always prepared myself to have an experience with it. I thought it would be me. I'm just being honest here. And so I had prepared mentally to have to deal with COVID in some way, or my parents, because that was my biggest fear. So when the text came through, I think my immediate reaction was just horror and then trying to bring myself back to be supportive really quick. I didn't really have a chance to process the negative feelings with it.
So how did your daily life change at first?
When the world shut down?
Yeah, I mean with COVID.
My daily life changed not a lot. Pretty much was a homebody, so everything that we're doing now, ordering food to bring it to the house, only going to the grocery store, staying in the house, binge watching Netflix and working, that was pretty much what I was already doing.
So, how has it, now that we're about 120 days into this?
Oh, wow.
How is your daily life now?
Let's say we're about 6 months in. Daily life is exactly the same. I think just mentally, I am more aware of what's going on around me, but still doing the same thing, ordering food, binging Netflix, working during the day.
So do you have any new routines or habits that you've adopted because of the pandemic?
Yes, I make sure to get outside the house and walk, run, something outdoor for an hour every day. I have to. Sanity.
So as we come into a new normal, do you expect to keep some of those habits and routines?
Absolutely. I think COVID has created a lot of new habits for us. And from what I've seen, they've all been positive things that we most likely should have been doing anyway, or things that we needed in our lives, whether it was mentally, whether it was physically, whether it was our personal relationships. So I'm actually thankful in a way because it woke me up and allowed me to kind of realize the things that I was looking over or forgetting to do for myself. Now that I have plenty of time to do them, I'm doing them and they're normal for me now.
So, what has been the biggest challenge for you throughout the pandemic?
Oof. The biggest challenge throughout the pandemic is staying calm and positive. I can say all day I'm so positive and glass half full, and I typically am. But when you're operating in a sense of panic, or when you're operating without any way to really plan for the future, it can create some instability mentally. It can create some fears and anxiety about what comes next, yet still trying to operate as if everything will be normal a month from now, 3 months from now, a year from now.
So how does this challenge compare to any other challenge you faced in life before?
So COVID as a challenge, I think I have quite a different perspective than most. I've always, since leaving the military, any challenge that I've come across in life, I've always kind of just told myself, well, you're not being shot at and you've survived war. Like, this is fine. Everything's fine. The house could be burning down. And I would probably tell myself, this is fine. You've been shot at. It's cool, Jannae. So this challenge is a challenge. I think it's taught me new ways to be resilient. But other than that, it's not war. I don't know what else to say.
So what was your service experience like in a war zone? Give us some context for that.
How everyone is operating now with uncertainty and just on autopilot to get things done, that's exactly how it is in a war zone. So welcome to the United States military, everyone. Glad to have you.
So how do you think your daily life's going to feel like in 2 years from now?
Oh, what will daily life be like in 2 years for me? I think that I don't know. I think because it's so uncertain, it's even hard to see that far out right now. And it's really been important to me, since the pandemic, to really focus on the day by day. It's what helped me get along. So I think if I were to try to envision 2 years out, I might scare myself and create some anxiety. So I'm just taking it day by day right now.
So in the challenges you see with your business, within your community, what excites you about solving them?
I think solving challenges for me has always been, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14, which was pretty much someone who sees a gap and solves it. It gives me a sense of accomplishment. It helps me recognize, who I am and who I can be for others. And I love doing that for other people. So this is just another challenge, another gap that I can fill, and I'm happy to do it, to be honest.
So a little over a month ago, so a few weeks ago, we'll say, it's all blurry to me, six weeks.
All the days run together.
6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatnot.
What day is it?
I've been on the road for 4 weeks straight, so I have no idea where I am. But, we had a whole another eruption of the racial injustice conversation. And I'm curious, what was your personal reaction to the George Floyd incident? And then how would you describe the Kansas City community's reaction to all of the conversations that have been pushed forward because of it?
When the George Floyd incident occurred, I think that may have been the first time in my life that I had seen with my own eyes something like that happen. So of course it was gut-wrenching to be Black, to be a woman, to be a part of the community that, systematically, racism. What am I trying to say? That totally threw me off, because I get so emotional about it, to be honest. It's hard for me to even speak about it coherently. Just a flood of emotions, just a flood of despair, to feel like something is happening around you, to your community, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. It's just, you feel so hopeless. And to be someone who is driven in their lives, and when they see a problem, they do whatever they can to fix it or step in or help. And to know there's really nothing you can do. Like, you just have to sit down and take this. It hopeless.
So how did the Kansas City community react? What has it been like here? I mean, we're standing in the middle of something, right? Yes,
we're actually standing in J.C. Nichols Park, which is where where Kansas City gathered for a lot of our protests, our peaceful protests. I believe that the leaders in Kansas City that were supposed to step up, I don't mean political leaders, I mean activists, I mean community leaders, they stepped up where they were supposed to. They went above and beyond. They made sure that we had a voice, that hopelessness wasn't alleviated, but we could move through a pandemic. We can move through this entire situation knowing that there are people out there fighting for us, knowing that there are people playing that role. And it was encouraging to see people step up fearlessly, because that, of course, creates that ripple effect. Well, I'm going to be fearless too. How can I help? Where do I fit in here in this fight? But wherever it is, we're going to fight.
So, in one or two words, describe how you feel about the next 5 years.
Anxious and excited.
Why?
I think there's a lot of good things to come. I think there's a lot of bad things that will come. Both, I'm just dedicated to remaining me and doing what I know that I do best, which is serving others. And I also know that when you have a call to serve others, it may require you to step up in ways that are scary. It may require you to step up in ways that you don't feel qualified to step up in. So, you know, that causes some anxiety. That causes some excitement as well.
So, I mean, you have an interesting combination of experiences and perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, military vet, you started a company.
LGBT.
Mm-hmm. You're a person of color. You've moved around. You're a military brat. All these things. What would you like people to know about your experience? What do you want them to know about where you've come from and how you see the world?
If I had to let people know something about my experience, should we start that over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Testosterone rocket over there.
Yeah. They're finally able to get out of the house. There's a bike club that comes down here every night, so that's probably one of them, going to the little meetup spot.
That looked like a Camaro.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a car. Okay.
Okay.
You're right. That is a car.
Anyway. So what would you like people to know about how you see the world?
If I had to point out one thing about how I see the world, what I would want people to know is, throughout all my experiences, throughout all my perspectives, the way that I'm living life, I think what's been the most monumental thing to enjoying all these experiences is being open and remaining open to what the world has to offer me, to what people have to offer me in their experience, and how I can learn from that, take from that, grow from that. And I would just encourage everyone else to do the same. Even more so now, it's really going to be about us helping each other and coming together, building a community, building a U.S., a globe, a nation, on serving each other and helping each other.
So is there a question or a topic I should have asked you that I haven't?
Yeah, you didn't ask me about Kansas City barbecue, duh.
Tell me about Kansas City barbecue.
I have no input. Come to my house and then you can really taste some barbecue.
So what is the secret of good barbecue?
The prep. It's all about the prep. And it's all about the hands that are making it. Yeah. That's what makes me so good. You're welcome to come over for a rib or two.
All right. So I guess as having a nascent kind of startup that you've created, and you got a pandemic going on, you got all this racial conversation happening, you have all this tension, all this stuff. What keeps you up at night?
Oh my gosh. What keeps me up at night is my team. I want to make sure that they are able to navigate this experience, not as a market-based employee or team member, not as a mom or dad or brother, sister, daughter, but just as a person, as a human being that feels like they matter. And right now, like, my number one priority is our culture, our company culture. And I'm hoping a lot of companies are starting to do the same with the remote work. they're just changing their perspective and how they handle their people. And I want to just handle my people and the people around me in the same manner. So it keeps me up. I'm not an HR director. I want my people to be okay.
So you have we have a video that'll go on the internet. We don't know when or where someone's going to watch this. It might be around the world somewhere. It might be here in Kansas City. It might be today. It might be years from now. We just don't know. But it's kind of like a time capsule, right? So what message would you want to put into the time capsule for whoever's watching this at this very moment?
I hope, this message is being seen by a little girl, a little black girl, who knows that they can change the world, who doesn't understand what it's going to take to do it, who doesn't have the tools, they don't have the the money, the connections. I've been homeless. I've been in the military. I've had nothing in my bank account. I've had no friends, no help, and it is definitely possible. Don't wait, for someone to give you a seat at the table. I have never ever waited for that. I've always made my own table. Forget a seat. I almost cursed, sorry. I've it's really about what's in you and what's ingrained in you and how you handle these challenges, and just know that anything that is thrown at you, never take no for an answer, ever. If it's for you and you want it, go get it.
Any final thoughts or ideas or things you want to chat about since last minute you decided to say yes to me and I got you out here at JC Nichols Park?
Yeah, no. Final thoughts is live well, be well.
So, final plug for you. If someone wants to learn more about what you're doing with your company, what would they need to do to go find you?
If you're a small business owner or an investor and you want to learn about the market base, you can go to www.themarketbase.com. Find me on LinkedIn. I'll always have a conversation with anybody. I do not care what time it is. Probably wouldn't be good if I had a family, but it's fine. I don't now, so call me.